Introducing Lucha Lucha.
It's not fair. This isn't even a competition anymore. Guys, after watching Lucha Underground Season 2, Episode 1, I have to say, when it comes to what wrestling promotion you guys need to watch here in 2016, NXT is great. New Japan Pro Wrestling is really good. But none of them come anywhere close to the quality, the TV production value, the characters, the cinematography, everything about Lucha Underground is in a totally different atmosphere. Maybe on a different planet, in a different universe. This is the kind of show that I had been looking for. The old school fan in me was just all over the show. It was screaming, yes! This is wrestling! This is the new age of wrestling! I am so happy that Lucha Underground is back. For the first time in a long time, I found myself a wrestling show. A wrestling show that I just sat back and said, you know what? Not gonna critique it. Not gonna do anything. Just like NXT. But this one, even more so. I'm just gonna watch. And not say anything. I couldn't critique anything. I had to go back and watch a couple of matches. Just so I can find something to talk about. Because I was so swept up in the show and everything it did, it was hard for me to really give you a solid review other than to tell you to go watch it. Seriously, guys, I was going to come up here and just tell you, watch the show. Just watch it. Because the kind of review I'm going to give you, but I could give you, cannot capture how awesome this show is. I'll do my best. Before you even think about watching this review, I'm going to assume that you've already seen the show. If you have not seen the show, please go watch it. Do yourself a favor. Watch Season 1. If you haven't seen Season 1, please check that out. Check that out. Because unlike WWE, Lucha Underground does play into continuity. Continuity is a huge part of Lucha Underground. So please, watch Season 1. It's on YouTube. You can find it. If you don't want to watch all 30-something episodes, fine. Just watch the 30-minute explanation. They have a 30-minute video on YouTube to explain Season 1 for you. Watch that. Catch up. Because I promise you, what you see in Season 2 is going to blow your freaking mind. Because Episode 1 blew my mind. So, there's your praise for Lucha Underground Season 1. There's my plug. There's my pitch for you to watch Lucha Underground. So, with that said, we open up the show with a segment of Vampiro in a psychiatric ward. Yeah, oh yeah, guys, this isn't one of those backstage segments or, segments inside the ring like WWE likes to give you. No. Literal psychiatric ward. He's inside this panel. We have a doctor, big table. Vampiro's on this side, doctor on this side. He's being evaluated to be let go. The doctor tells him about his past, about him graduating from the freaking psychiatric ward. And during this talk, he has flashbacks of him wrestling Pentagon Jr. And him visualizing himself killing everybody in that room. Really getting you inside the head of Vampiro. Yeah, they're going deep balls in with this. It's really crazy. You have to watch it, but it's violent. It's really violent visualization. The doctor gives him a powerful prescription to take care of that psychiatric mess. Then he leaves. He goes outside and he meets Matt Striker. And he asks Matt Striker, do I still have a job? Matt Striker's like, I don't know. They just called me, but I haven't been back there. And Vampiro's like, how is it? And then Matt Striker says, it's a much darker place now. You don't know what that did to me, because during the season finale reel, with all the storylines wrapping up and storylines beginning for this season, we have Pentagon Jr. and Vampiro. And Pentagon Jr. is asking him, Master, where are we going? And Vampiro said, to a much darker place. Oh! It's tying into what happened last season. It's just small stuff like that that's really gets me. It's just, God damn it, that's so good. So good. That's the first 2 minutes. The first 2 minutes of the show. And it's already kicking the ass of WWE and NXT and in Japan Pro Wrestling. And I love NXT. And I love it. But Lucha Underground, totally different level, guys. We get into the actual show now. That was just the intro. Phoenix, who is the Gift of the Gods champion. Now, remember, the Gift of the Gods is Lucha Underground's version of the Intercontinental Championship mixed with the Money in the Bank. You can cash in this belt to get a shot at the championship. So it's like the secondary belt for the World Championship. But it's also Money in the Bank. Very special belt. But Phoenix walks in to the boss's office, and we're thinking Dario Cueto, because he's the owner of Lucha Underground. Nope, we don't see him. We see Katrina. Yeah, Katrina, the evil vixen that I guess controls, but yeah, pretty much she leads the champion Mil Muertes. You know, she has the stone to give him power anytime he is losing or stuff like that. She's the pallbearer to Mil Muertes' Undertaker. How about that? But she's the boss now, because Dario Cueto left last season because of personal reasons. But he says he wants a shot. He wants to cash in his belt against Mil Muertes. She says, nah, you're not going to get it, but I'll give it to you next week if you still have it after tonight, because you're defending your belt against the Hunter King Cuerno. And she says, by the way, the champion, and I love this. Throughout the night, the champion Mil Muertes will be watching you from Dark Olympus, his throne at the top of the temple. And then we cut out to the arena where we see Mil Muertes sitting at his throne at the top of the arena watching the matches take place. I love that. That's how you make a champion look important. That's how you make him feel like he's a threat, that he's a big freaking deal. He has his own freaking throne. So awesome. And I was just like, oh my god, that's great. That's awesome. I love that. That's good. And then you see these great shots of him, serious face, not even moving. He's just sitting down and just watching. And I'm just like, God, that's a good visual. That is awesome. And we're constantly reminded of, this guy's a champion. This guy is the man to beat. Alright, so we get to the first match of the night. Matt Striker and Vampiro are back on commentary, excuse me. They're back to being the commentators of the show. But Melissa Santos, the sexy female announcer. Ooh, man, I love her. So the Gift of the Gods Championship match opens up the show. Awesome match. Love it. Non-stop action. The kind of lucha libre wrestling that we don't get a lot, but we can only get, and probably will get, in Lucha Underground, baby. But non-stop action, high-flying, great moves, Hurricane Ranas, DDTs, fast-paced action, counters to counters, good commentary, all that jazz. Just a really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What a great way to kick off the show. But, King Cuerno hits Phoenix with his first finisher, the finisher that he used throughout last year to win him matches. It's like a modified Falcon Arrow. It's pretty cool. And, Phoenix kicks out. And so we're thinking, oh man, Phoenix must have his number. But, this is important, what he does to beat Phoenix, because he does beat him, he pulls out a new finisher. He invents a new finisher that's even more deadly, more devastating than his previous finisher. It's like this cradle tombstone pile driver. It's hard to describe, but it's like a modified cradle tombstone pile driver. It looks crazy. It looked devastating. And he beat Phoenix. King Cuerno is your new Gift of the Gods champion. I didn't expect that to happen. No one did. Unpredictability here in Lucha Underground. I didn't think they were going to drop the belt from Phoenix the very first day. This is crazy. It feels like a wrestling show. It feels like the wrestling show that I grew up with. Man, it's so great. Then we have a short promo afterwards where Cuerno is confronted by Katrina, and they just have a few words. She says, "So, remember our deal?" And he says, "You have nothing to worry about, and neither does Mel." So I'm guessing that they're purposely keeping that belt away from Phoenix so he won't beat Mel for the championship. Because, you know, they're rivals. The man of a thousand deaths and the man of 1,000 lives. Phoenix being the man of 1,000 lives because he's the Phoenix. He rises from the grave, rises from death. And Mil Muertes being about death. So that contrast eventually has to lead to a match. But there's so many other things we can do with that. But that's good. Then we get on to the second match of the night. Katrina meets up with the former Trios champions, Son of Havoc, Ivelisse, and Angelico. She tells them they will fight each other in a triple threat match, which eventually, at first, they declined. They were like, "No, we're not going to fight each other. We're friends. We're not going to do this. We're not going to let you split us up." But eventually, they said, "You know what? Yeah," because she then said the winner will fight Mil Muertes for the championship that same night. So, sportsmanship prevails, and they all agree to it. They have a match. Now, I like this because when they're announcing the match, because it happened the very next second. So, Katrina goes out, and she tells the announcer that this is what's happening. But when they actually come out, the crowd and the announcers react to it like, "Oh my god, these guys are actually fighting each other? Why?" Because they're not watching what happens backstage. What happens backstage is what happens backstage. We don't know what's happening backstage, you know. So there's that, there's that line there of, okay, while this is happening backstage and you're watching it, they don't know about it. You have to buy into the actual world they're creating. It's world building. That's very important. World building. What we see backstage isn't what they see inside the ring. It's really good stuff, man. Very good. Really awesome. Really awesome. God damn, it's so good. Love this shit. Small stuff that makes me happy. But the match happens. It's Son of Havoc versus Ivelisse versus Angelico. Fun match. Good back and forth from all sides. Very stiff stuff. I remember this one spot where I think it was Ivelisse in the corner. Son of Havoc, I think, was going to tackle her or something like that. And she ends up hitting him in the face with a big boot. So he falls out. Here comes Angelico. Well, no, Angelico was going to hit Son of Havoc, and then Havoc jumps out the way, and he ends up running into Ivelisse with this running knee to her face, and it was devastating. It was crazy, man. But, the match happens, it goes on, and then it ends with Son of Havoc getting up to the top rope, and Ivelisse trips him, and he falls groin first, nut first on the top of the freaking turnbuckle, so he's not going anywhere. And then she rolls up Angelico for the win, and she now gets to fight Mil Muertes. And you know what? I like this because at first it was like, awesome, Ivelisse is gonna fight the champion, and then 5 seconds later you're like, oh crap, she's gonna fight Mil Muertes. Oh damn, she's gonna die. So it's mixed. It's kind of like, yeah, you're gonna get a title shot, and that's great. But there's no way you're going to beat this guy. There's no way you're going to beat Mil Muertes. He's going to kill you. And the match was up the very next second. So she isn't even going to get a chance to rest. She's going right into the match against him. Jesus Christ. She's in trouble. So what happens next is Katrina brings out the Disciples of Death, the little trio team that's currently the Trios champions. And they come out and they beat up Angelico and Son of Havoc to, get rid of them so they don't interfere. They don't interfere in the match and help Ivelisse beat the champion. Leaving her alone to fight Mil Muertes. The match happens, and as you would expect, Mil Muertes just beats the hell out of her. You know, she doesn't get anything on him. Every punch, every kick, every submission move, everything she tried to do does nothing to him. He just fends her off. I mean, I don't know what his height is, but there's a big height difference between them. And strength difference. And appearance. It looks like she's a mouse and he's a cat. There is no way that she was going to beat this guy. But there were instances in this match where it felt like she could have beaten him, which I like. She gets like a triangle choke on him, which it's one of those things where she's on his arm, he just goes, "Is that all you got?" And then he goes to throw her over the top rope, but she hangs on, and she uses that leverage to, pull his arm even more over the ropes, and she actually managed to hurt him. He gets pissed off and knees her in the back, which is, that was devastating. Knees her in the back, but he then, afterwards, goes back into the ring, and I can remember her going to the top rope and hitting an awesome tornado DDT. And he's down. We're thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to pin him. 1, 2, near fall. And then Katrina gets inside the ring. She holds the stone up. And then he goes to spear Alyx. And then he ends up spearing Katrina. And then she pins him again. And I'm thinking, wow. Now that was the moment I thought she could have actually beaten him. And I was like, my God, this woman is actually giving the champion a hard time. Crazy. Now, eventually he got pissed off. And then, lays her out. He hits her with a power slam, picks her ass up, and flatlines her, and beats her 1, 2, 3. But, really good storytelling match, man. That was some good stuff. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. I'm not saying, and to the people that say, well, all your favorites have to win. No, you don't have to win every single match. You just have to tell a really awesome story where I'm invested and I'm entertained. Or at least I come out feeling like that was worth my time. I got my money's worth. And afterwards, the aftermath of the match, Katrina's like, you know what? Kick her ass. I don't like her. And those of you who remember the feud between her and Alyx, that makes sense. Katrina never liked Alyx, and she wanted her to die. So, Mil Muertes, kick her ass. He goes to pick her up and hit her with another flatliner. Hit her with another flatliner. And then Prince Puma returns. The champion from last season comes out, makes the save. Saves her. Then, after he saves her, Pentagon Jr. runs in, hits Mil Muertes with a backstabber, and breaks his freaking arm. Breaks the champion's arm. And we see Pentagon Jr. standing tall. Cerro Muerto. Muerto. I don't know how you say it. Zero fear. That's what he's trying to say. Cerro Muerto. And that's how we ended. Well, we didn't end the show, but we ended the wrestling portion of the show with that. But that was cool. So we just set up potential feuds between him and Prince Puma, him and Mil Muertes and Prince Puma, Mil Muertes and Phoenix, and then Mil Muertes and Pentagon Jr. I really want to see that match. I really do. And I love Pentagon Jr. giving a nod to Vampiro. This is for you, master! It's really awesome stuff. There's just so many things we can do with the show. Then we end it. How it really ends is after the credits, we see Black Lotus. Black Lotus is, it's that really awesome female wrestler that never really got a chance to wrestle last season. But hopefully she wrestles this season. But Black Lotus was the prisoner of Dario Cueto. She was looking for the guy or the monster that killed her parents. But she ends up killing her master last season. And now she's working for Dario Cueto. Anyways. Those two, it's a long story. I would rather you go watch the season 1 version to really get the whole story. But they're not even in the arena. They're still other places. We get these three guys who are looking for an underground fight club. And they meet Black Lotus, driving out in the dark, and she just comes up to him, come with me. And so she leads them to Dario Cueto. And he says, $20. And he's behind the shat. And he says, you want to get in? Let's go. So they go inside. And they're like, man, by the way, who's fighting tonight? And Dario Cueto's like, you are. Slams the door. And then you hear this roar. And then bones cracking and things being eaten. They're screaming in panic. And they're just horror. It's just horror. And we're just left to go, well, Clearly, that was the monster behind the bars, and those guys were just fed to it. Death count up to 4. Well, this season is 3. 3 people die. Yes, guys, by the way, people die on this show. And when they die, I mean they die. Unless you're Phoenix, who can rise from the dead. But people actually die on this show. Yeah, we're going that far, guys. I think the monster's name is Matanza, right? Now, eventually, I think the wrestling character Matanza is called the monster, Matanza Cuatro. He is gonna make himself. I'm gonna assume he's gonna make himself inside the ring, as well as Black Lotus. I expect those two to be wrestling this season, and eventually we have to get Black Lotus versus Matanza, right? Right? You know what? I'm sitting here trying to predict what's gonna happen, but honestly, wherever they give me, I'm not gonna complain. I'm at a point with Lucha Underground where they can give me anything they want, and I will watch it. This show is that good. I'm not going to sit here and say they better do this, otherwise I'm not going to watch. I don't have to, because they're so great at hooking me into their product and making me, want to see more, getting me invested. Roster rotations, great wrestling, everything. They do everything so well, to where I have to tune in each week. I would be crazy not to tune into this show. And you know what? I think you guys should definitely tune into it as well. If you have not seen Lucha Underground, start with the 30-minute season 1, or unless you want to watch the entire season 1 for yourself, go for it. But start with the 30-minute season 1 explanation on YouTube. Watch that. It's on their channel. Then, check this show out. I promise you. Now, El Rey Network is not available for everybody. That's the only way you could catch it on cable. AT&T for me doesn't have it, so I had to catch it through other means. It is what it is, but man, watch it in whatever way you can. Watch it. Watch Lucha Underground. With that said, give me your thoughts down below about it. Favorite moment of the show? What are you looking forward to? How do you feel about Lucha Underground? What do you have to say about what I said in this video? But guys, I will say this, man. If there is ever a way to get me to stop watching Raw, it's this. If Lucha Underground's show becomes so popular, or if my reviews become so popular that I can do what I'm doing, just watching Lucha Underground gets me views, gets me subscribers, or keeps me subscribers by doing that, I would rather just watch Lucha Underground. That wouldn't be fair because I'm the wrestling person. I had to, and me being who I am, this being a wrestling channel, I would think you guys would want me to talk about every single wrestling promotion out there, or at least the stuff that's cool. But man, if Lucha Underground ever got to a point that I can stop watching Raw and still, grow this channel just reviewing Lucha Underground's shows, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would. Seriously. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. This is your boy, Alyx signing off. I'll see you next week for more Lucha Underground. Peace.